I'm a little annoyed.
Really?
Yes.
What's stuck in your craw, John? What's eating you?
I think collectively as a society, we are unquestionably just a bunch of idiots. We are so stupid, it's incredible. And you know my thing about the History Channel and my problem with the History Channel, right?
Yeah.
And I woke because I fell asleep with the TV and I woke up watching the History Channel. And I cannot believe how the modern human, the modern American, the modern human, but more so, mostly in America, we're dumber than we've ever been. And here's why. We cannot accept the fact that the people before us in past civilizations were smart. So when we dig up something in some archaeological dig, we find some weird tool or we look at a pyramid, we can't figure out how they did it. So we just assume they're clearly not as smart as us. Because if we can't figure out how they did it, obviously they didn't do it. So aliens must have done it. And we fall for this shit, and we're watching History Channel. When History Channel first came out, they talked about Abraham Lincoln. They talked about George Washington. They talked about things that were important. They talked about the Romans and the Egyptians, but, about the important stuff. Not about how there's no way they could have moved those rocks by themselves, so the aliens must have done it. Now think about this. If aliens were on the other side of the universe, you think that they were looking at us through a telescope saying, you know what? They're having a hard time moving those rocks around over there. What do they call that? That Stonehenge place? Yeah. Let's go there and move some rocks for them. And then leave. So, these guys came from Jupiter, Mars, or Alpha Centauri, flew all the way over here, showed a bunch of, what were they, Scotsmen, Irishmen in animal skins, how to move rocks, but didn't show them anything else. They didn't show him anything else. How come we don't find any, fancy stuff, things that have to do with electronics? If they came from another planet, clearly they didn't do it by rubbing two sticks together and knowing how to move rocks. Clearly they were civilized people that came from the other side of the universe that had something to offer. They wouldn't make the trip to show them how to put the perfect point on the top of a stone triangle. There was another thing they were talking about. They were talking about, and why they're doing this, I don't know. Why the History Channel would even touch upon this and embarrass themselves further. They were talking about, Hitler towards the end of the war. He was down on finances. He was down on, what it would cost to make technological advances, yet he kept making technological advances because he had some way of deciphering the Egyptian hieroglyphics that was a secret about how to do space travel. So for some reason, Hitler, of all people, was in tune with the connection that the Egyptians had with aliens. Nobody else. So how could he come up with this rocket? Because aliens told the Egyptians, and Hitler was able to figure out the hieroglyphic secrets. You got to watch it. It's insane. It's madness. And people watch it the way they watch Jerry Springer. The people that watch, the History Channel now are just as stupid as the people that watch and appear on Jerry Springer, but they just put it in a format that makes you feel like you're intelligent. It's kind of like the wind chill factor of the intellect. They're saying you're stupid, but you feel smart.
Are you saying that aliens created the wind chill factor?
I think they did. You know what? I have the ugliest house on the block, but I have a house. I got a fire going behind me. I'm warm. If I'm going to walk down the street and someone's going to tell me how miserable I am because I feel colder than it actually is, don't tell me how cold I am. I feel great. Go to another country or go back to when they were trying to figure out how to move these rocks in Stonehenge, when these people, to keep warm, had to kill a freaking goat or a cow or whatever kind of animals were running around, cut their skin, and then put this bloody skin on them and walk around and say, hey, this is great. Now, could you go out in the woods if suddenly there was an ice age? Could you go outside tomorrow or next week or in 2 years? Go out and start making clothes out of dead animals? Of course not. They were able to do it. Not only was ancient man able to do it, Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, and probably whatever was before that. What was before that? Homo erectus, whatever they call it. These guys were out there killing animals, smart enough to say, you know what? I'm going to take that animal, I'm going to hit him with a spear, and then I'm going to take his skin and cover myself with it to keep warm. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. So don't tell me that they needed aliens to come and tell them how to move rocks. There's no way. There is absolutely no way. They were smart enough to do it themselves, and I submit that because they had no choice, natural selection says so. They had to be smarter than us, or they would have died in an instant. We wouldn't be here right now. Their brains are what allowed us to become this incredibly stupid society that we are right now.
So, what do they call it in the summer?
The heat index. And it's wild. The same thing. They say, it's 92 degrees, but with the heat index, it feels like it's 103. I'm not going to go outside and just lay down in the middle of hot pavement in the middle of the street. I'm going to go in the shade or you know what? It's 92 degrees. I feel like it's 70 because I got my air conditioner on. Don't tell me how I feel. You. Oh, God, morons, every single one of them. And they think I'm stupid, but since I'm giving you the weather report, let me say what I can say to look smarter than you so that you won't realize how stupid I am. They mask their stupidity with facts and figures about how cold you are or how hot you feel or how dark it really is or whether or not aliens moved around rocks over at Stonehenge. I'm going to pour myself another Evan Williams. I got to tell you something. This is not a bad drink at all. I highly recommend it. Now, if you're going to drink out of a snifter, you're going to drink it warm? No, you can't drink Evan Williams. It badly needs ice.
If you're going to have some 3-month-old linguine and mussels, Evan Williams. That's what I'd recommend.
Ibar Fridays recommends. I actually like to mix it with water.
If that linguine and mussels has fermented, it might have alcohol. It might.
Well, you know what alcohol is?
No, tell me.
Yeast eats sugar, and it excretes alcohol. We're collecting the urine, or whatever you want to call it, because it is a liquid, from billions and billions of little critters, just enough to make an ounce. And then we're like, hey, what is this shit? And then we drink it, and it makes us feel good. So I wonder how many other
That's ethanol, actually, right?
Well, I wonder if there's other types of animal excrement that we could consume to give us a buzz.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, John.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if you can consume it, but do you know what shellac is?
Shellac, I don't. I assume it's, turpentine, thick turpentine. It's from pine.
No, the shellac you use to finish fine furniture or violins.
No, what is it?
It's the of a certain kind of beetle.
Is that right?
That is correct.
But, we go and we buy it by the quart. How many of these poor...
No, shellac, real shellac is like a powder, and you got to mix it in with...
So what, do they have a farm where they raise these beetles? They don't go out into the woods and just, shake them over a coffee cup and collect it.
Well...
I never knew that.
How did they figure out that we should take this beetle shit and add alcohol to it and put it on our violins?
Well, how'd they figure it out?
Aliens.
There you go.